What happens when George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, teams up with Ron Howard, little Opie from the Andy Griffith Show? Well, we get one of the best, well, I may argue, the best fantasy adventure film of all time, Willow. Welcome back to Have You Seen That Film, where we're going to be discussing one of my all-time favorite movies, released in 1988, starring Warwick Davis, Val Kilmer, Willow. Now, Willow, I kid you not when I say it's one of my top five, it's in my top 5 favorite films. We've mentioned some of my other ones on here. We've talked about George the Jungle, I've reviewed that. I've ranked the Mummy movies because the first Mummy is also in my top 5. And with ranking the Robin Hood movies, we talked about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, another one of my top 5 favorite films. Today we're going to be talking about Willow. A few months ago, they released a trailer for a sequel coming out on Disney Plus, a TV series, which, I'm just going to say it, Disney, don't screw this up. I have very strong opinions about a lot of other things that you've done in the Disney Plus realm of TVs and movies, and I'm just going to be out there, open, whatever. I'm very tired of Marvel and Star Wars. I haven't seen any of the new Marvel. The last one I saw, I went and saw the Spider-Man movie because I wasn't going to miss that simply because of what happens within it. Don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet. But it's kind of like, if you haven't seen that one, it's like, really? Everyone saw that one. Anyways, so I'm not the biggest fan of what Disney's done lately with a lot of things. I'm very tired of everything they're contributing, and I don't always find the stuff that they are putting out there to be the greatest. Mandalorian, not that good, in my opinion. You people are freaking out, I know. But I'm the point I'm trying to make is, the reason I'm making this video is because they finally have released a trailer to the sequel they're going to be making to Willow, which does have me excited, but does have me worried. And I'm sure there's some people out there who are kind of like, oh, this looks cool, but who is Willow? What is this? Which, unfortunately, if that's who you are, that's very sad. Very, very sad. Just kidding, I'm sure you've had a wonderful life. Maybe you haven't, but you're missing out if you haven't seen Willow. Willow tells the story of Willow Offgood, who lives in the world with all the people his size. They're essentially like hobbits, but they're not. They are nicknamed in the world of the giant people like us, Pecks. And Willow one day comes across this baby. His children find this baby, and apparently this baby is supposed to, Willow doesn't know this yet, but it's the baby to take down the evil queen Bavmorda, who is Bavmorda. I'm going to say her name wrong, but it's Bavmorda. She's the evil queen, she reigns terror, and she's going to wipe out everyone and be in full control, except this baby. This baby is the only thing that can take her down. Willow finds this baby and eventually goes on a quest to take the baby back to the big people. And I don't know why I'm making this video, and suddenly they're all slipping. They have different names. They're not like midgets, they're not humans. The Nellwoods. That's what Willow is. Yes, Nellwoods. That's the kind of what people Willow is called, as the Nellwood. The Dakinis are the big people, and the Brownies are the little people. It just took me a minute to connect the, when you have to, draw the line to who matches this. Just took me a minute to do that. Anyways, so he delivers the baby he takes it to the Daikini people and comes across Magmardigan, aka the greatest swordsman who ever lived, played by the very wonderful, very talented Val Kilmer. In the end, he ends up giving the baby to him, but on his journey home, the baby's given back to him, and now he has to, because the baby has chosen him, to take her to fulfill her quest. And along the way, he teams back up with Magmartigan, and they ride across the valley, fighting bad guys, two-headed dragon things, trolls, all in the attempt to put an end to the evil queen and save the world. And that is the rough, kind of, I know I was a little here and there everywhere, description of the premise of Willow. Now, Willow was one that I grew up watching. I remember the first time I even saw it, I was growing up. I live in a small town called Homedale, Idaho. If you have ever been there, cool if you live there. This is a shout out to you, everyone who lives in Homedale. I was heading home from my grandma's. She lived like a 5-minute walk away from us. I was like 5, and I came home, and my older brother and sister were sitting with my mom watching Willow on VHS. Woo woo, VHS! And so I came in, and I was just mesmerized by this. It was so cool. It was awesome. And I've just continued to watch it throughout the years and have continued to love this movie. I find this movie to be magical. There's something that draws people to it. And it has done that for years. It continues to do that for years. And the hope is it'll continue to do that with this new series coming out. And it'll cause people to go back and rewatch the original or find it for the very first time. One of my favorite things about this, and he was a childhood icon to me, and is still one of my favorite fictional heroes, is Magmartigan. I think this is hands down Val Kilmer's best character he ever played. I thoroughly enjoy watching him in this, and it's kind of one of those only Val Kilmer can play Magmartigan. I remember reading once that John Cusack, now whether this is true or not, I don't know, but I remember reading that John Cusack actually auditioned for the role of Magmartigan, and I like John Cusack. He's another 80s icon. He's awesome. But thinking about John Cusack trying to play this role, it just doesn't work in my head. Val Kilmer was perfect for this. He's playing the rogue, kind of Han Solo character, but in the in the Willow realm, and I just love him. My one thing about this movie, this is the one thing I'm going to say that could make it better, and it's already a perfect movie. Is honestly, I feel like I wanted to see more of Magmartigan's sword skills. He claims he's the greatest swordsman who ever lived, and we see him, and he's awesome with his sword fighting. But there's very few scenes where we get to see him really. A lot of times it's just kind of like we get a few seconds here, a few seconds there. I wish we could see, there have been more scenes or longer scenes just within these scenes of him displaying his ability or his skill as a swordsman, proving that he is the greatest swordsman who ever lived. And I'm not going to argue, because he is. But I just wish there was more. That's my one, Willow could have had this. But this really is a fantastic movie. If you enjoy fantasy adventures, this is really a great story to watch. Someone once described this movie perfectly to me. If you take Lord of the Rings and mix it with The Princess Bride, this is kind of what you get with Willow. It's got that same kind of vibes and feel. And really, if you break it down, you see it, and it's like, yeah, Willow is basically like Lord of the Rings, but George Lucas's Lord of the Rings. And George Lucas brought people Star Wars, so I personally find this to be George Lucas's best work. I would take this over Star Wars any day. And I think what's so great about it is it's just, again, it's so magical. And I feel like it's got things for everybody in there. We got a rogue swashbuckler, and there's the action, and there's some romance. There's drama. There's a beautiful, fantastic score by James Horner. I mean, I love the soundtrack to Willow. My wife got it for me on CD because I'm a little old school still, and you love the soundtrack to Willow. And it really adds a lot to the story. It gives us a lot of that that feeling we should have when watching a movie, when we're watching a story. The music really provides what the film is trying to grasp, get your attention with in some scenes, the emotions they're trying to grab. So because I love Willow so much, and I have a ton of knowledge of this, fun facts about this movie. So Willow was originally kind of the premise of it came about when George Lucas was working on Return of the Jedi, the last film in the original trilogy of Star Wars, and Warwick Davis played Wicked, the little Ewok, and he told him, I'm going to make a movie that you're going to be the star of. And that is where Willow came about. Willow, at the time, I don't know if it's been surpassed, maybe it has, but it had the largest cast of little people because they actually got a bunch of little people to play the Nelwoods in the beginning that you see throughout the movie. So I can't remember how many they had, but there was a lot of them. When Willow came out, George Lucas was expecting it to be the next big thing since E.T. He was expecting it to be just like that. Unfortunately, Willow was not the box office success that George Lucas was hoping for. And so he was not able to make any further films, but he did actually make books. He wrote a few books. Now, I am yet to read any of the books. I've heard mixed things about the books. It's a trilogy. There's 3 books, I believe. But it's something that I still want to delve into because I love Willow and I want more Willow. But again, we have the Disney Plus series coming out, and I have my fingers crossed that it's going to be good. They're getting Warwick Davis is coming back. There's now reports that they're going to have Val Kilmer come back, which I'm super pumped for. And Joanne Whalley, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She plays Sorsha, the love interest. Which, another fun fact, Val Kilmer and her actually got married after the making of this movie. They're now divorced, but they're all coming back for the Willow series, so I'm excited about that. Again, Willow is a really great movie. It's a kind of a fun family adventure film that you can watch together. With so many great characters that you love, characters that you want to see succeed. I love the relationship between Willow and Magmartigan. I think that is very touching and endearing. I think it's great the moments when Magmartigan's kind of like, no, I'm on your side, Willow, and we're gonna do this. I love the character of Magmartigan. Again, a childhood favorite that I will always say is one of my favorite fictional characters. And I just love that this movie has cast a spell on me and so many other people, and it's one that I can always go back to. And it's kind of like, it's like comfort food in my opinion. That's how I'll kind of describe it. Like, I watch Willow and I'm comforted. I feel good and I don't regret watching Willow, and it kind of just makes me it lifts my mood and makes me feel adventurous. Something that we want in a movie. That's what I want in movies. I love feeling adventurous. And I get done watching Willow and suddenly I'm, outside sword fighting again. And I'm a 26-year-old man, but it's like, who cares? Like, I want to feel like Magmartigan. I want to go off and fight evil. So Willow is a fantastic movie, one that everyone should see and one that everyone should enjoy. If you've seen this movie, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion on what you think of the Disney Plus series coming out, so comment down below. If you like this movie, thumbs up. Well, if you like this video, thumbs it up. If you haven't seen it yet, you can find it on Disney Plus right now, so go check it out. And thanks for watching this video today. That's a wrap.